Zhiyun has an extensive range of gimbal styles across its entire catalogue, everything from smartphone-specific models like the Smooth 5 to the mid-range and up to the professional market with their latest, updated, most comfortable and powerful gimbal system, the Zhiyun Weebill 3. Pitched at professionals who need to film with DSLRs and mirrorless cameras, Zhiyun have incorporated several changes in the Weebill 3, making it more user-friendly as a whole, mainly in areas of ergonomics and extra features, making it more of an all-rounder. This combo package includes a couple of extra accessories, one being this backpack carry bag. I would have preferred a K-style personally, since the bag feels a bit oversized and somewhat impractical, which completely defeats the purpose of having a small and compact gimbal. Nevertheless, the gimbal itself is just that, compact and portable, with a design that can only be described as robust yet refined. High quality plastic with matching anodized metal used throughout. The quality all round is excellent, no issues there at all. Just beneath this nice, chunky yet comfortable hand grip, we have this base creating an overall L-shaped design and helping to add comfort. On one end we find a USB-C port used for applying firmware updates, as well as charging the built-in 7800 mAh battery. A full charge being easily enough to get through a day's shooting depending upon your payload of course. Otherwise, we have some rubber pads on the bottom, helping to keep the unit standing upright, although I would personally recommend attaching the included mini tripod to the metal 1/4" 20 thread incorporated into the bottom, providing not only a more stable base, but also ample space for two-handed operation by acting as a hand grip extension. On the top side we find the unit's main power button, alongside a connection mount on either side, used for attaching accessories which we'll come to in just a moment. Just above the chunky and comfortable hand grip we find the majority of the essential controls needed during recording, operable by the user's right hand. A compact 0.96-inch monochrome display provides essential information to the user, such as current active mode and remaining battery life, while on its left, controllable by the user's thumb, is a joystick for shifting where the camera is pointed at, a record button and a mode button, used for switching between multiple gimbal modes via single and double presses. On the front side we find a trigger button, with multiple presses providing different actions, such as recentering the gimbal or swinging back into selfie mode, while just beneath is a control wheel which can manage the camera's roll, though it can be configured to perform other actions should you prefer. Finally, on the right we find a menu button and a control wheel which isn't easily pressed when the gimbal is used one-handed. This opens up the menu system on the compact 0.96-inch display, navigated using the wheel, and handles various functions. All in all then, it's rather ergonomically designed, making all functions easily accessible, other than the menu functions off to one side, which you'd most likely not use during video capture anyways. Note the control arrangement is more suited for right-handed use however, so I'm sorry but lefties are out of luck here. Anyways, moving up we have the main 3-axis gimbal design with the 3 arms compensating for movement across the 3 axes. All arms are in their locked state for safe and secure storage, although they're easily unlocked thanks to these nice chunky switches next to each motor. Talking of motors, these are rather substantial, handling the mounted camera's roll, tilt and pan axis when in use. Like the previous model, it's designed to take a heavy load in the form of a DSLR or mirrorless camera and an accompanying heavy lens, while the range of motion is very high, with 360 degrees of panning, up to 330 degrees of tilt, and 340 degrees of roll. Levers can be unlocked in order to release the balance adjustability built into each motor arm, used for sliding the arms up and down, with handy guides printed on each, used when balancing your camera once in place. Talking of camera, a long slide-out mounting plate is used to attach the camera to the gimbal. To help turn the screw in the plate, Zhiyun has included a magnetically attached tool near where it slides into the gimbal's arms, which can be used as an alternative to a screwdriver, Allen key or coin. To make things even easier for camera management, a smaller quick release plate can be attached to the camera instead, which can then be attached to the slide-out mounting plate. This is handy as instead of having to slide out the entire mounting plate each time, you can simply remove the smaller one. A final point to note are the small cluster of ports situated conveniently beside the attached camera. namely a USB-C port for camera attachment and control, alongside a 3.5mm audio port on the rear, while a second USB-C port around the front is used for attaching other Zhiyun accessories, including follow focus and zoom systems, or even transmission systems. A nice added touch is the addition of a video light, even a built-in microphone, both of which we'll take a closer look at shortly. So all in all, as it stands, it's a really nice gimbal design with a nice, ergonomically comfortable, feature-rich setup that feels seriously robust, albeit for right-handed users. As with the competition though, you will require a certain degree of setup time to get the camera in place and ready to shoot. With a supplied plate mounted to the bottom, easy thanks to the included tool, the camera can now slide into place onto the gimbal bracket itself, taking care to leave some balancing space next to the tilt motor, and locking into place with the side lever, which keeps the camera very securely in position. From here, it's a matter of balancing each of the axes as much as possible in order to reduce any unnecessary stress on the motors. I'd recommend locking each axis to begin with, and unlock as you move down to balance each. So, starting with the tilt axis and with the camera facing upwards, release the vertical adjustment screw and adjust the arm so that upon releasing the camera, the lens remains pointing upwards. This includes some trial and error here, trying to make adjustments until you get the camera to stay pointing upwards, before locking the adjustment screw back into place. With the camera now horizontal, we repeat the same balancing process, although this time by moving the camera plate backwards and forwards on its mounting bracket using the locking lever on the side, before locking into place. So at this point, the tilt axis is completely balanced. You can see from my example, no matter where I point the camera on the tilt axis, it stays put, so completely balanced. Repeat the same process with both remaining axes, following the same procedure of unlocking the adjustment lever, balancing by sliding the arm back and forth, and then locking back into place. And after a few minutes, you're completely balanced and almost ready to shoot. You'll know when you're balanced when the camera stays put no matter where it points. Also note that should you add any extra gear or attachments to your camera setup, you'll need to follow the rebalancing process again to ensure the entire setup is equally balanced. Nevertheless, with the physical setup complete, we're ready to power the unit up by pressing on the power button located just under the hand grip. The rear-facing display screen springs to life, as do the motors, and now stabilizing the camera across all three axes, and at this point you're pretty much ready to shoot, although before any shooting session you'll want to check through all menu options in order to tune to your liking. The front panel is minimalist and all the controls are easily accessible using the button and the dial located on its right side, with the dial being clickable in addition to rotating back and forth. The mono LCD is relatively bright and provides all the data you need to operate and configure the gimbal. Other than the small size, there's no real issue here, allowing easy adjustments to gimbal speed, highlighting the current active mode, and providing some general gimbal control. While navigating around menus is relatively intuitive, when attaching any camera to the system, the first thing you'll want to do is head across to the auto-tune menu to begin the tuning process. In essence, this tunes each motor to the weight of the payload attached, ensuring they are not stressing themselves and using extra battery power unnecessarily. The entire process takes just a few seconds, after which you're pretty much ready to shoot. If you do find the screen a little too small for your liking or simply want remote operation, like earlier models in the range, the Weebill 3 can be controlled by a companion app. ZY Play for iOS connects to the gimbal over Bluetooth, giving you control over the camera's motion from your iPhone or iPad, although with an annoying activation process mind. Here you'll find sliders, a software joystick, options for switching between the different modes, battery indicators, along with setting the camera to start and stop recording if connected to the gimbal. Deeper Exploration offers options for scene modes, selecting the camera brand, calibration, and other valuable features too, so it's quite feature rich, while still being rather intuitive and easy to use. Going back to the gimbal system though, now there's a built-in light on the right side of the camera, which the user can turn on and off via a long press of the clickable wheel on the right side of the handle. The wheel can control the brightness of the light with a maximum of 1000 lumens, which can help brighten up a dim or dark location. The light works at color temperatures between 2600 and 5400 K, but there are a few snap-on filters you can attach for more wild color options. Of course, this will not necessarily replace a full professional lighting setup, but it will do in a pinch, providing something that's better than nothing at the very least. Zhiyun have also included a built-in mic in the same place as the light, a cardioid version aimed wherever the camera is pointed and boasting a noise cancellation function. A short cable connects that mic to the camera's microphone port, providing the audio feed straight into camera. While it is an improvement, it still isn't the ideal solution, and a wireless mic setup will still offer higher audio quality for video projects, of course. Although saying that, it is good for capturing ambient noise of your surroundings, while a dedicated wireless system captures your main subject, for instance. Nevertheless, one of the strongest points of the Weebill 3 is the sheer versatility in transforming the unit for different shooting modes. While the axis arms are rather big in order to fit larger DSLRs or mirrorless cameras, the hand grip is rather short, and you'll tire during longer recording sessions. So I'd recommend always keeping the included tripod mounted to the bottom. It makes for a much more comfortable hold since you can now use two hands to grip the system, perfect for longer shooting sessions. This configuration is reminiscent of the classic one-handed gimbal design. Of course, we have all the normal gimbal modes available too, locking and unlocking different axes depending upon how you wish to shoot. This also includes a POV mode, keeping all axes following the camera but smoothing out the footage, as well as a vortex mode for those 360 rotations. You can even head into the menus and drill right down, setting the rotation speed, as well as in and out points, all rather impressive. Of course, the thumbstick can be used for finer gimbal control too, and should you get in a muddle, a quick double tap of the front mounted trigger button will reset and recenter the gimbal, while a triple tap flips the camera around into selfie mode. The trigger can actually be custom programmed to make it more suited for your uses, though it's on a go mode by default, which when held down causes the gimbal to react to your movements, similar to the POV mode but reacting much more quickly. Finally, the dial just below the trigger is especially handy for resetting your horizon level should it be slightly off, although can again be programmed for other functions too, of course. Modes aside, we can change the physical setup of the gimbal system too, thanks to its two attachment points on either side of the hand grip. Included with the combo package is a wrist pad, which is a small attachment with a soft touch finish on top. On first look, this seems like a simple attachment, which it is, but when it comes to using it, it's surprising how much such a small addition can add. The pad removes some of the stress that usually falls on the wrist when holding the entire setup, and it really does make a difference with distributing that weight, adding to overall comfort while using the system for longer periods. Also included in the combo package is a telescopic sling grip. This connects to the opposite side of the wrist pad, and although simple in design, it offers some extra support, especially when panning. The design is such that the handle can be rotated to your desired position, as well as extended somewhat, albeit you'll probably want it at maximum extension most of the time. It does feel like a bit of a tacked-on afterthought and less product designed than the rest of the Weebill 3, but there's no arguing that the lightweight approach works, since the adjustable sling grip provides another arm for supporting smoother pans, tilts, and movement, but also helps you capture more creative angles including lower perspectives. The versatility really is exceptional here, making transitions between setups nice and easy on the fly. The small touches are nice too, such as how the camera slowly comes to a stop following a vortex mode movement. It all works wonderfully well. And that shows when using the device to capture smooth motion too. When it comes to general performance, as we would expect nowadays, everything worked perfectly well. The more you use it, the more you realise just how well the new design changes work. It may look simple, but those tweaks make a big difference to overall use. Handling the new gimbal is smooth due to that wrist support, and it's easy to control with the thumb joystick in easy reach for controlling the arm position. Like other handheld stabilizers, it can't do much about the up and down motion as you walk or run, so you really do need to adjust your walking and shooting style too, with softer steps for instance, but it still manages to iron out a lot of movement to give really smooth footage. With those added shooting modes, you can really pull off some impressive shots, and to be fair, I found the unit to be incredibly smooth in operation overall, especially in the underslung mode with the ability to transition between shooting heights with the utmost of ease. A real joy to use. I can see how this could be used on a more professional level too, with added attachments, remote operation, follow focus, remote transmission, and so on. It just feels premium and truly professional level. As it stands then, although the fold-out screen design of the Weebill 2 was a great feature that I would have liked to have seen in this version too, the new Weebill 3 still feels far more refined than the previous generations. It's more streamlined, losing that bulk that came with the second generation and returning to the more compact feeling of the original, lighter and agile, albeit more refined and professional. Added features like the light and microphones are great when you're trying to pack light or minimize your setup weight. That aside, the focus of this release has to be the comfort, and from the outset that ergonomic design is instantly apparent. The wrist rest really does help take the weight of the gimbal and camera. Add in the effect of the simple sling handle when fully extended, and you have a gimbal system that is nicely weighted due to the counterbalance design. Unfortunately, the controls are designed for right-handed users though, which may alienate a lot of potential buyers. In summary then, the Weebill 3 is clearly a radical rethink of what a gimbal should be and how it could be used. Doing so while also making it less tiring for users to wield it is even better, making it an easy choice whether you're a small-time YouTuber or into professional level videography, using the Weebill 3 as a basis for a larger shooting rig. This system seems to be the one that covers both and everything in between.